Hi guys, and welcome to the AD7LN radio room. Today's little session for the Elmer Time will be about shortwave radios, and in particular shortwave portable radios. And with today's technology, what you can get for your money and what would be the best to get. If I were to go and look for one to purchase, what I would be looking for, and I'll go through a checklist, and if you can check off most of those checkpoints, you should be getting yourself a great little portable shortwave radio. I kind of collect them. I don't know what it is, but I've got many of them. They're fun to play with, see which ones receive a little better, which one has a better sensitivity, lower noise floor, all that. Anyway, let's get on with it. Thank you for stopping by. Okay guys, you ready to rock and roll? Here we go. Starting off with the checklist. If I were to go and look for a portable shortwave receiver with today's technology and the standards, first part of the checklist, I would want a radio that has a PLL circuit, phase lock loop, and or a DSP design. Also, it must be double or triple conversion. The higher the conversion, the more noise that gets knocked out of the receive. And for the medium wave band, AM broadcast band, the medium wave broadcast band must have a decent receive for distance during the daytime and night. Night is easier. Daytime, you want to get stations outside of your city. If you can do that, that's good. You want the ferrite bar antenna on the inside of the radio to be long enough so that that equates to more distance on receive for medium wave. As far as the FM broadcast band on the radio, it must receive all semi-local stations with selectivity and clarity. For me, stereo's give and take, because when I use a portable receiver, I'm not caring about stereo. I'm just caring about receiving the signal on all bands. Very rarely do I actually listen to quality stereo music time. Normally when I have a shortwave portable radio, it's because I'm listening to shortwave. Occasionally I'll turn it to FM if I'm doing work around the room or something. Anyway, for the shortwave band, I want to make sure that it's the full band. 1.8 to 30 megahertz. Must have the full HF band with high sensitivity, with a low noise floor. Okay. Next, bandwidths. Must have at least 4 different bandwidths for sideband and 4 for AM. That's for tuning out the adjacent noise. whether it's man-made or earth noise. You'll see the bandwidths are very, very helpful for receiving, both on shortwave and on your medium wave. Speaker. The audio must have good mid-range with some bass. Sound must be clear and crisp. Of course, here is a give and take depending on the size of the portable radio you get. The smaller the radio, obviously you're not going to get a lot of bass. So there you go on that. However, the larger, much larger, a foot across, 10 inches tall type of radios, they'll have a 4 or 5 inch speaker in them, and you will get some bass to mid-range out of there. You want good sound so that you can interpret the voice that's been deciphered through the radio wave. And if it's got a bad speaker in it, you're going to have a hard time keeping up, listening to it. So for the speaker, bass to mid. Tone control. There must be a minimum of high-low as far as a switch for tone control, or voice music. On some models it'll be voice music instead of high-low for tone. However, it would be best to have a full range of adjustable tone, high-low, or even a high and a low potentiometer. So tone control is a big thing, especially when using shortwave. You can tune out some of that RF hiss static through your tone control as well as RF gain. Let's see, direct keypad entry, just as you would on a telephone. You've got all the numbers. You want a portable shortwave radio with all the numbers on the front face of that radio so that you can directly input the frequency you want to go to right away, rather than having to tune until you get there and you're wasting your battery and time to get there. So tuning. So direct keypad entry. And for the actual tuning dial, must have a smooth feeling to the tuning dial, or if it's on the side, like so what. Preferably with no chuff or audio muting while tuning. That's a biggie for shortwave radio listeners. If you're tuning the dial looking for signals and that radio mutes while you're tuning, you don't know if there's a signal that you just passed over, unless you just tune very slowly with tiny increments, and that takes a lot of time. Where if you had a radio that does not chuff while tuning, you can smoothly tune through the dial, through the frequencies, and hear every single little thing as you pass through. Antenna. Of course, it's going to be telescopic. The longer, the better. However, for HF, for your shortwave listening, you'll probably want to attach some sort of long wire onto the telescopic antenna anyway, unless there's an antenna input on the side of the radio. Just because you need that longer antenna wire to receive the lower frequencies on shortwave. So, but it's still good to have a longer telescopic antenna on a radio. You'll get better distance on FM as well. Key lock. An option for key lock so that you can press a button, it locks all the buttons, so that when you're transporting the radio or you're traveling, it doesn't turn on while it's in your luggage. or in your trunk of your car or what have you, and then you can take the radio out, press a button, and it unlocks the keys. It's a good thing to have. Signal indicator, used for fine tuning. An analog meter, graph, bars, or numerical. You want some sort of indication on the display of the radio that shows you when you're tuning up to something or passing that signal. It helps while tuning. Battery indicator. Good to know when the batteries need charging or replacement. So look for that on the front of the display of the radio as well, for a battery indicator of some kind. Now, optional features. These are going to be features that sometimes are included on shortwave radios, but aren't really anything that I consider adding value to my receive enjoyment. First off would be long wave, only because here in the United States there's nothing to listen to on long wave. However, in Europe they're still using long wave, so there you would want that. ATS, automatic tuning system, or memory channels. That I very rarely use memory on any shortwave portable. I'll use memory channels on HF and VHF and UHF radios, especially VHF, UHF radios, only because you've got to tune the offset, the tone, and what have you. So it makes it easier and faster to have all that preset. But for a portable shortwave radio, I don't find it necessary. Air and weather. The air band, it's nice. Weather band, that's also nice to have. In case you live in an area of the United States where there's a lot of tornadoes, you probably want that. But where I'm living, it's not really a high necessity, so air and weather band, not really needed. I have it on so many other radios already. The power source. The type of batteries recharging, function or wall wart friendly. Normally, for me, I always run all my shortwave radios on battery power. Sometimes I'll have rechargeables in it, sometimes it'll be just over-the-counter batteries, due to less noise input into the radio. Sometimes you will get noise from wall warts being plugged into a portable shortwave radio that is plugged into the AC mains, where you don't get that with pure battery operation. So, clock, alarm, and sleep. Good to keep track of UTC time for logging. I could see where the clock could be handy. The sleep function for me is handy sometimes. I can set it to 20 or 30 minutes of listening time and it'll shut itself off. That's good for me to use the radio, walk away, forget about the radio turns itself off anyway. Or if I want to listen to it while going to sleep, it turns itself off in 20 or 30 minutes. I don't waste the batteries. So the sleep function is somewhat good. Okay. And then backlighting. Some models are better than others for nighttime LCD display readability. As long as there's some lighting in the backlighting, it's okay. I'm not so picky about it. As long as you can see a little bit of light enough to read the display. It doesn't have to be so brilliant that it's blinding. That would be way too much anyway. But some lighting is great. Too much, it's just overkill. Synchronous detection. Too many people put too much stock in synchronous detection. Very few manufacturers of shortwave radio portables can make a proper sync detection, and it's not a big deal anyway because you really can just tune to sideband and tune in the AM carrier and listen, and it works almost as well as a sync detection. It's not the same, but it works very similar. And sometimes it's enough to pull that AM signal through if it's weak. So with that should be it. If you can check off most of these on the radio that you're looking at possibly purchasing, then you should be doing rather well. So with that, take care, have a good day, and I'll catch you later in the AD7LN radio room with Elmer Time. Take care.